Hi and welcome back. We are going to continue our video about Sandbox overview. So we downloaded the version we want, which is 1.11.10, this version. And also previously we created a JSON file. Let me cat this so it's empty. And we're going to set up the very basic configuration for the application in order to run properly. So the project S, we go to the Sandbox, which is the application we're going to use, and then we go to documentation. Briefly talking about documentation, this is the home page, which is shows the license and the creation and the authors and emails. The installation, which is about the how can we install, for example, with the Debian or the repository. Also, it has for Arch user repository. Also for the other operating system and through their package management, which we are not going to use because we already downloaded it. And graphical users, we can use it on Android and iOS, and also the Windows is, which probably it's on progress. The manual, which shows that how can we use this proxy as a server and client, and this is the one of the features that is really interesting, that at the same time you can use it as a client or as a server, or kind of cascade connection. We can connect them, and we see this demo of this configuration. Also talks about the protocol, shadow socks, Trojan, and Hysteria to HY2, which we talk about them later. And our targeted tab is the configuration, which shows here the main or the object that we are going to define in our configuration file. As I said, we are not going to talk about all of these because some of them are really new. For example, certificate is new, endpoints is new feature, and probably doesn't work or it will be functional on 1.12 or 1.13 or 14. As we go through the documentation, you can see more updates on the documentation that we have. So first we have the configuration, which is the whole configuration. I'm going to help how can we read the documentation first. It's really important to know reading the documentation of a specific application. So it shows this is the configuration, whole configuration. The first one is log. You can see here's the log. The second one is DNS. You can see the DNS. The third one is NTP. You can see the NTP. So this is the pattern. We have the object, and then each sub object or categories is going to be described in this documentation. So log, if we go to log, it shows that this is the format for log. So we define the log as an object, and then we have the keys, disable the object, the level of the log, and then the output if we want to write to a file, and then the timestamp if we want to somehow add the timestamp to the log. And then a little bit short description about each field, what it does. Somehow it feels incomplete, and you have to give it a trial and error in order to know the documentation and test it, but it's enough to get started with. So the log one, and then we have the DNS one. What happens? Oh, okay, the DNS one, which has its own object and categories, server, roles, final, and so these are the configurations. So we are going to have the very basic one. Copy this, okay, the whole thing, coming back to our terminal, and in the file you open the file, delete this, and then pasting this. That's it. So we have the log, we have the DNS, we have NTP, certificate, endpoint, inbound, outbound, routes, and experimental. Okay, save it. And then for the first very thing, we are going to check if this file configuration is valid or no. So it says the certificate is unknown field. When you see error like this, it means this feature has not been added or supported by this version. We use Sandbox version 1.11, and probably the certificate, if I go to certificate, if I can find the certificate. So it's going to be supported on 1.12, and since we are using 1.11, it doesn't support that, so that's the reason. And simply it just showed this functionality, showed this error. So if you got this error, you simply come here and delete it. So delete this, and let's one more time check it. No problem, which means the configuration we have is valid. Okay, also we are not going to work with NTP, so log we are going to work, DNS we are going to work, endpoint I said it's a new one. We do not work with inbound, outbound, roles, and also we do not work with the let me give it, we do not work with the experimental. So basically we are going to work with log, DNS, inbounds, outbounds, and rows, and you can see Vim shows me the warning, which is improper comma after the last item in a JSON file. So make sure it's really valid JSON file, otherwise we get, and the sandbox is really sensitive to valid configuration. This is the thing. Let me close this, check it one more time, no problem. Also, if I want to show you the commands that we have here, one of them is format for proper formatting. So format-sc file, it makes a proper format if we have the configuration. Since it's empty, this file we have is empty, it doesn't show anything, but later we can somehow have a proper formatted, nice well formatted JSON object. That's it for this session. So make sure you have the file, you have your editor and the copy, and we're going to start from the next session talking about the log object. Thank you for watching. Let's go to next video.